What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I know this video is slightly late. We do have some NFL games that we're going to talk about, as well as some NBA. I will go ahead and say NFL Sunday today is not what it's usually going to be. Today is tough. There's a lot of games that don't matter. There's a few games that do matter, and those are the only ones that I will personally be targeting today for NFL. So before we do anything, I am going to pick a winner from yesterday's video to win a free month of our VIP. Once again, if this video gets 250 likes, I will select a random comment down from the comments to win a free month. Now, I will say the free picks have been terrible the last couple of days, guys. I know that. Cannot hit one of these parlay play slips on the free picks to save my life. Hopefully that does turn around here today. I have two more slips that I like that we're going to lock in live, and hopefully it goes well. But picking our winner from yesterday, we'll go ahead and get that out of the way. Winner is going to be for Clem and Joe, who said, life is just a fantasy aces, that is. You guys rock. Well, Clem, I really do appreciate it, man. Send me a message on Discord, and I will get you added for that free month of VIP. Now, I'm looking at our bet tracker from yesterday. If you're looking at this, yes, that's correct. $1,300 profit on our sportsbook yesterday. We swept the board across every single sportsbook, looking at our bets, everything from the third down. All of these are what we played yesterday, and I tailed all of these myself. So we have Seahawks plus Bucks. Bucks money line with Seahawks money line. It was $243 to profit 400. That cashed. Had a teaser for the Seahawks, which I gave you guys in yesterday's video. That cashed. TCU minus 1.5 for college basketball cashed. Houston minus 5.5 on college basketball cashed. We had Timberwolves money line, and then we have Purdue for college basketball minus 4.5. Every single one of those cashed. An amazing day for our sports books yesterday, putting us up almost $1,500 on the month already this month. So we've been killing these sports books. First day of the month was pretty rough. Other than that, though, the last couple days have been pretty good for sports books. Here's the plays we played. I actually locked these in on Prizepicks. You don't have to if you're in the Discord and you're playing these. You don't have to play them on Prizepicks. That's just where Ace has been locking them in. I feel like a lot of people like the Prizepicks because they play on Prizepicks, so he's been doing that. But you can see Tampa Bay wins and Seattle wins, yes, 243 to win 648, which is $400 profit. Purdue wins by 4.5 points, yes, that one cashed. Houston wins by 5.5, yes, that one cashed. TCU wins by 1.5, yes, that one cashed. Minnesota money line yesterday, 250 to win 178. And then I had this Carolina Panthers plus 10 with the Seahawks plus 4.5, 250 to win 178, which also cashed over on Bovada. So if you guys aren't telling these sports books, I'm telling you guys, you need to be doing that. That's where the majority of the money is going to come from, especially if you're playing straight bets. That's going to be the most consistent thing we can do. So highly recommend you guys are playing those if you're not. So that being said, if you guys do want to get every single one of these plays and you're not in the Discord already, click the WAP link down in the description. You can get every single play that I post for $10 a week or $25 per month. Right now, you can still use code NBA to get 20% off, so that's less than $10 a week if you guys do want to join. So highly recommend you guys sign up if you're not in there already, and hopefully we can have us a good day today for NFL and NBA. So that being said, we're going to jump into these NFL games. I'm going to talk about the ones that I think are important, and then the other ones I'm just going to skip over, and we'll go to NBA. First thing we're going to look at is going to be the weather. So there's a couple games I'm interested in this slate, one of them being the Jags versus the Titans. This game is the game for the Jaguars. Jaguars need to win. They win the AFC South. It's going to be a great spot for the Jags. They need this win tonight. They could also get a number one seed if they win and some other things happen. So Jags, this game has 0% chance of precipitation, 59 degrees, playing against the Titans. This should be an easy win for them at home, so we'll see what happens. But give me the Jags in this game, and weather looks good in that one. The next one we're going to look at is the Vikings-Packers. That one's in Dome Stadium. Weather doesn't really matter. Packers are on their third or fourth string quarterback. Not much going on there for the Packers. They're struggling, so I don't think that they're going to beat the Vikings. But we'll look at that here in a second. I'm skipping the rest of these games. I'm going to be honest with you up until we get to the Ravens-Steelers game. This is a game that is going to be in Pittsburgh. It is a 25-degree game with a 1% chance of precipitation, which means this game is just going to be very cold. So a very cold game up in Pittsburgh for this one. So that being said, weather news doesn't look that bad. First game we're going to talk about is Titans-Jags. I've already told you guys I think the Jags win this spot pretty easily. You got 61% of the money on the Jags in money line, 58% on the Titans, or 58% on the Jags beating the Titans by 13.5. It's plus 103 and a 46.5 point total. Right now, the Jags are minus 669 on the money line. This is a spot where you're not getting good values for just running the Jags. So what I ended up running on this one is I ended up running the total on this game, and I ended up putting it in a 3-pick, 9-point teaser. So I have the total under 56 is what I have. So I don't think this game's going to be a shootout. Tennessee has actually been putting up some pretty big points. Put up 26 versus New Orleans, put up 26 versus the Chiefs, put up 24 versus San Francisco, 29 versus the Browns, or 31 versus the Browns, which is actually a pretty big feat, putting up that kind of numbers versus Cleveland. They only had 3 points versus the Jags in the last game. So the Jags was able to contain this offense. They have looked better lately. This game is potentially, I mean, it could end up being high scoring. Now, I like the under 56. I don't expect them to score 28 points, and I think the Jags are going to win. So I could see a 28-21 game happening and it being 49. Now, I think Ace actually ran under 47 on this as well, under the original line, so he's predicting it to be a low-scoring game. And I honestly don't expect it to be very high-scoring. I don't think it's going to be. I think the Jags are going to be able to stop this Tennessee team. I think they're going to be able to run the ball, and I think they're going to be able to milk the clock to keep it low. So we'll see what happens there. I do think it stays under that 47 line. If you want to take the under the original total, I think that's not a bad play at all. And I definitely like the under 56. But if you think it goes over 47 and you want to play somewhere in the middle, I don't think that's bad either. I think there's potential for the Titans to have a good game here, but I'm just going to rely on this Jags defense to keep them contained. I'm looking at the Jags. They've won, 7 games straight, 75% win rate on the season. There's no reason to take Tennessee in this game, in my opinion, unless you're just playing it for odds, hoping you get lucky. So give me the Jaguars here. Like to play a lot, and I'm going to be locking them in. The next game we're going to talk about is going to be Green Bay versus the Vikings. You got Minnesota minus 456. This one's at home. You got 83% of the money on Green Bay with 50% on, and this is a spot where I think this is just kind of dumb. Like, I know Minnesota hasn't looked that great in certain spots, but Green Bay's offense is going to be terrible. They've lost 3 in a row. They haven't even come close in a lot of these games. 26-30. I mean, I guess that's within a touchdown on most of them, but still, like, I just don't. If you believe in Green Bay here, that's fine. If you're I like Green Bay as a team, but I mean, they're missing so much. Like, it's very hard for me to want to trust this team. I don't trust the Vikings either. I'm not putting a bunch of money on this or anything. You can maybe make a teaser out of it. You can probably take under 45 or something with Vikings or something like that. But for me, I do think the Vikings win this game. There's not really much in terms of player props that I wouldn't even look at player props in this game personally. Last game on the slate I'm going to talk about is going to be the Ravens versus the Steelers. This is the game most people are waiting for. This is the game that makes a lot of sense. This is win or go home for both these teams. One of these teams will make the playoffs, and this game determines it all. Pittsburgh is plus 170 underdogs at home, a 3.5-point spread with a 41.5 total on this game. 52% of the money is going to be on the Ravens money line, and then 73% on Pittsburgh covering a 3.5-point spread. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, for a teaser, I'm taking Pittsburgh plus, I think the 9-point teaser, I got Pittsburgh plus 12.5, and I took the over 31.5, or over 32, on the teaser as well, and I played it with the Jags one. So I like that a lot. I do think Pittsburgh keeps this game close. Honestly, I want the Steelers to win this game. The Ravens, I know Baltimore has been a strong team the last few seasons, and seeing them struggle so much this season was a big shock for a lot of people, including me. They just beat Green Bay 41-24. Looked strong. They lost to New England the game before that. The Ravens have struggled defensively more than anything. Derrick Henry looks way better lately. He started the season off very, very weak. He was not looking like his old self. Lately, Derrick Henry's been crushing it. So if Pittsburgh cannot stop Derrick Henry, I do not think that they're going to win. If they can somehow contain Derrick Henry, I think the Steelers have a good chance at winning. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to want to go to the playoffs this year. I really do. I think he's going to have a good game tonight. I think that the secondary for the Ravens has been so bad lately, and they've given up so many passing yards that Aaron Rodgers could have a good game tonight. So I do want the Steelers to win this for some reason. I'm rocking with the Steelers tonight. Give me the Steelers for plus 170, and on a teaser, plus 10.5 for sure is a good line for the Steelers, in my personal opinion. But that's what I got for that game. That being said, we're going to swap over to NBA. We're going to talk about some of these games. I haven't broke down this entire slate. There's only a few games that I'm really looking at here, and I'm just going to talk about the ones that I think are going to be good for player props. So we got the Pistons versus the Cavs in game one. You got 66% of the money on Pistons money line with 56% of the money on the Cavs covering a 4.5-point spread. Very high-scoring game, 237.5, or decently high-scoring, I mean. Both teams are very, very good. The Cavs have looked very well lately. They beat Denver, they beat Phoenix, and they beat the Spurs in San Antonio in 3 back-to-back-to-back games. If you look at the Detroit Pistons, they've lost 3 of their last 4. They've completely turned it around. Lost to the Clippers, lost to the Jazz, and they lost to Miami. So they have looked rough lately. They are missing Jalen Duren today. They are missing Tobias Harris again. Chris Levert is out, and then Wendell Moore is questionable. When you look at Cleveland, they have a questionable Jared Allen, a questionable Chris Livingston, Sam Merrill's questionable, Larry Nance and Max Strus are both out, and then Dean Wade is also questionable. So a lot of players questionable for this Cavs team. In terms of picking a money line for this game, I don't have a pick for you guys just yet, but I will say this is a very good game for player props to target, in my opinion, and I do like Donovan Mitchell here a lot today, including Cade Cunningham. I think both the point guards are going to pop off. I think they're both going to have very good games. I think this is a good spot to take both those in a pretty decently fast-paced game that should stay competitive. So that's what I like for this game. Next one we have is the Pacers versus the Magic. This game's got majority of the money on the Magic money line, but majority money on the Pacers covering a spread. So this one's kind of split down the middle on this one. If you look at these two teams, right now, Indiana is missing Halliburton, Isaiah Jackson, Benedict Mathurin, and Obi Toppin. You look at Orlando, they're missing Castleton, most likely. He is doubtful. Suggs is out this game, and then Wagner is out this game. So I'm looking at Banchero. I'm looking at Anthony Black again. Black has been a wagon as of lately. I think he could cash this as well. And when we look at this Pacers team, like they've lost like 11 games in a row. Like they're not looking strong at all. I don't think they're going to come on the road here today and beat Orlando. Now they could. Don't get me wrong. This team could come out here and win. It's NBA. Anything can really happen. I do think the Magic are the better team, even without Suggs and Franz. So that's my personal opinion. Give me the Magic here. I told you the player props, mainly looking at Anthony Black here. Maybe Pascal Siakam. Maybe I take Siakam. He cashed me out pretty easy last game. So I am thinking about taking him as well, but we'll talk about that. 227.5 total. Not super high scoring. Not going to be the greatest game for player props, but I do think it could be competitive, and I do think it could be a spot where you can get some value on some players. Next game is going to be the Nuggets versus the Nets. I actually like this game. The main thing is right now is that Michael Porter Jr. is probable to play. He's been coming off of an illness, so no injury, just been sick as of lately. He's probable to play tonight. I think he has a big game playing against his former team in Denver. I think this could be a good spot to get Porter Jr., and I'll be playing him today. I got a good line that I like a lot for him, which we'll talk about here in a minute. Brooklyn is plus 138 at home, 2.5 point spread, and a 224.5 total with 63% of the money on the Nuggets money line and 60% on Nuggets spread. When you look at this team, these two teams have both been struggling, really. The Nuggets have lost 3 of their last 4 games, mainly due to injuries. And then you look at the Nets have lost 3 in a row, including getting beat by Washington last game. When you look at Denver, probable Jamal Murray, so he's probably going to play. Aaron Gordon, Christian Brown are finally questionable. They've been out like 6 games, probably more than that. I don't even know. They've been out a lot. But Christian Brown and Aaron Gordon are both questionable. Still missing Bates, still missing Cam Johnson, still missing Joe Val and Jokic. So team's still struggling with injuries. A lot of those, if Brown and Aaron Gordon play and Murray play, they have majority of their starting 5 back up. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did come out here and get a win. If you look at when you look at Brooklyn, they are missing Claxton today. Highsmith is out, and then Porter is questionable, or probable, I mean. So not really a whole lot going out. Claxton is a big loss for this team, to be honest. But I do think that the Nets do keep this game close. I think it's not bad for player props if you can get some value here. I would wait for injury news before locking in any of the Denver players, because if Murray plays and Aaron Gordon and Brown both sit again, then Murray's probably going to be that player we should look at. But if you look at Murray with Gordon and Brown both in, depending on the minutes and the restrictions of the 2 players, maybe Murray is not the move today. But we'll take a look at that. We'll kind of break it down a little bit more later. But next game, Minnesota Timberwolves versus Wizards. I'm fading this one unless you're going to run like Randall or something. I'm probably not. I'm pretty sure T-Wolves, played T-Wolves last night. T-Wolves are on a back-to-back. Just not going to play that game most likely. Pelicans Heat, fast-paced game, 244.5 total. Heat on a back-to-back again, I believe. Yes, they got lost to Minnesota last night. Okay, I thought so. I couldn't remember exactly. But Heat on a back-to-back are playing against a weak Pelicans team that has lost 6 games in a row after winning 5 in a row. So this team's another team that's very streaky. Lost 7, won 5, lost 6. So they cannot get anything going consistently anyways. They just got beat by Portland 2 days ago. So this game being a back-to-back for the Heat, maybe it's a chance for the Pelicans to come get a win. Now, they're missing Sadiq Bey. They're missing Herbert Jones. Trey Murphy's questionable. They're missing DeJounte Murray and Derek Queen, so they're missing a lot of players. I don't expect them to come get a win. Tyler Hero's doubtful. Jaquez is questionable. Larson's questionable. Rozier is still behind bars. So we got Bam, who is obviously playing, and Norman Powell in here. I think this is a bounce back for Norman Powell. Now, listen about Norman Powell. Norman Powell hooked us yesterday and cost us a slip. The reason for that, Norman Powell got hurt in the first quarter and didn't come back till almost half. So he didn't get like his normal rotation of minutes, and he was looking pretty decent. And he had so the first quarter I think he had 2 points, and that was it. and then he had 10 at halftime. So second quarter, when he actually came in, he actually was looking good, and he come back and was playing well when he played. We just needed a little bit more in the first quarter, another bucket somewhere. If the game would have stayed competitive or more competitive, he would have got more minutes in the fourth and could have cashed us, and that's all we really needed. So Norman Powell, I could see having a good game here today, especially versus the Pelicans. Pelicans defense struggles, and I can see Bam and Powell both having good games. OKC versus Phoenix. Give me OKC. I'm not big on Phoenix. You guys know I am. A lot of money's on OKC. This is one of them I'm going to be tracking for the bet tracker in terms of money lines. Same thing for this Miami game. We're going to be tracking those as well. So we'll see what happens here in terms of picking a team. I do think the Thunder are the better team, but this is in Phoenix. Maybe Phoenix can get an upset here. I wouldn't be surprised if people take the plus 344 odds right now, and I don't think it's bad. Grayson Allen is questionable. Jalen Green is out. Looking at OKC, missing quite a few players. Nothing major. Isaiah Joe's questionable. Ihart is out. So other than that, they pretty much have a majority of their starting five. Wallace is also questionable, so you got to watch out for that as well. But I do think Phoenix at plus 300 odds is a live dog here, especially with all the money being on OKC. But if we're looking at it, OKC is definitely a better team. Bucks versus Kings. Give me the Bucks. The majority of money's on the Bucks. I'm going to have to put this one on the tracker as well. The Kings just can't be trusted. Giannis is probable. Harris is questionable. Looking at Sacramento, Levine is questionable. Sabonis is still out. When Sabonis comes back, maybe this Kings team can get something going. But without Sabonis, this team has just struggled all season long. Last game on the slate, we got a rematch between the Grizzlies and the Lakers that just played the other night. 57% of the money is on the Lakers, with 65% on Memphis covering the spread. This is another spot where Grizzlies lost last game 121-128. Lakers beat them 121-128. It's the last game they played 2 days ago. Ja Morant is questionable. Aldama is questionable. They do have Coward. They have Wells, Jaren Jackson, and Koloko missing. Zach Edey, Ty Jerome. They're missing so many players. Like, this team just can't stay healthy. When you look at the Lakers, they're missing Rui again, missing AR again, missing Gabe Vincent again. Like, this is a tough spot to trust this Lakers team as well, because the Lakers without AR and missing these players have not looked good. Now, they just beat the Grizzlies in Los Angeles. They're playing at home again tonight. I think they beat this Grizzlies team. They beat them with Ja playing. Ja is questionable. Taking a look at Morant, that makes a big difference as well. If Morant gets ruled out, then maybe you're looking at the Lakers in a better spot. But for me, that game's probably going to be a fade in terms of picking a winner for the game, because I don't really trust either of those two teams. But that being said, let's go ahead and lock in some player props. We're going to lock in a slip for NFL, then we're going to go and we're going to lock in a slip for the NBA. We're going to lock them both in on Parlay Play. I will say you guys can sign up with any of the 7 apps down in the description to get a free month of VIP. You can sign up and stack those. So if you sign up for more than one app and deposit, you can get more than 1 month of VIP. So up to 7 full months for free. Chalkboard, Parlay Play, Underdog, Sleeper, Novig, Better, and Dabble. The ones I'm pushing a lot right now are Chalkboard and Parlay Play. Parlay Play gives you a $5 free bet, a deposit match up to $100, and they also get you that free month of VIP. They have tons of promos. You can see all the promos for today. These are all just for today. And they do this every single day. Just be selective when you're picking them. All of them aren't going to hit. Just be careful about that. Do your research. Same thing for Chalkboard. Chalkboard gives you a ton. So if you guys want to sign up for one of those, just let me know on Discord, and we'll get you added for that free month. That being said, the first pick that I have for today is going to be for our man Aaron Rodgers. I'm taking our man Aaron Rodgers to give us 180 passing yards. That is a line that is very low. And when you look at Rodgers lately, he has struggled. He really has struggled. So I could see this being sweaty. Where is passing yard? There it is. Passing yard at 179.5. That's what I'm locking him in at. He's cashed it in 67% of games on the season. He's averaging 202 passing yards per game. He had almost 300 passing yards in two of his last 4 games, 224 versus Miami. He just barely went under versus the Browns in the last game. But that Browns defense has been rough. Now, look at Baltimore. Baltimore has one of the worst passing defenses in the league, giving up 245 passing yards per game. Looking at this spot, 58% of Pittsburgh's plays are passing plays. This is a game where Rodgers is going to have to step it up. Now, they are missing DK Metcalf, who was all suspended still. He's not going to be playing in this game, so they're going to be relying on some other players to pick it up. Some tight ends here, Freiermuth, Smith, Kenneth Gainwell obviously has been getting quite a few targets. He gets 16% of the target share. So they don't have those go-to guys or that star wide receiver right now. But I do expect the running backs to have some good games. And I think Aaron Rodgers throws for 180 here. I think that line's low. Head-to-head, he had 284 in the only game this season versus Baltimore, and that was back on December 7th. 284. So 180 is very low in a must-win game. So give me Aaron Rodgers here. I don't think that's a bad play, and we're going to lock him in. Rodgers, 179.5 is a 1.32x. Who am I pairing it with? I'm actually going to be pairing this with one of the promos. I'm taking Travis Etienne. I told you guys I like the Jaguars today. I think the Jaguars are in a spot. They have to win this game. They're playing against a team that should not be able to stop Travis Etienne. This game should get a little bit ugly, I think. I think that they're going to be leading by at least a touchdown, and I think that pretty sure the spread on this is what, 13.5. So like they're projected to win by 2 TDs, or that's where the spread is at. So 49.5 is low. It really is. His original line is 61.5. He's cashed his 69% of games on the season, averaging 67. You look at his last 10, he's cashed 7 of 10 games, averaging 60. Yes, he's had some bad games in there with 28 and 32. Head-to-head, he has one game versus Tennessee this season. He only had 28 rushing yards. They won 25-3. He wasn't even needed to do anything. He had 12 rush attempts that game and did not do anything. You look at him this season, he's averaging 15.4 rush attempts across the season. You're going against the middle of the pack defense. They give up 118 rush yards per game, and they're giving up 94 to the running back position. If you come here and look at Travis Etienne, he's getting 53% of the rush share. Trevor Lawrence is another 17%. So right there eats up 70% of your run share. And Etienne is obviously the star back. He's the go-to guy. And I expect him to give us 50 today. I'm taking a chance on him. I think he chalked me last time. I think I played him versus the Jets, and he only had 32 rushing yards. But I'm giving him one more chance. If he chalks me here, you probably won't see me taking ETN for a while. But I'm going to lock these two in for a 1.9x. 250 wins 477.5. I'm going to come over here to track picks. We're going to refresh, show you guys that it's legit. We locked in this pick. Aaron Rodgers with Travis Etienne, both locked in to win 477. That being said, we're going to jump over to NBA. We're going to lock in an NBA slip, and let's get this going, guys. So the NBA slip, well, before I do that, let's check Prizepicks. We do need to check Prizepicks. Make sure the value on parlay play is good. So we're going to come over here. We're going to find that Aaron Rodgers play, 179.5. We're going to come back up to rush yards. We're going to find Travis Etienne right here, 49.5. And you can see we get a 1.8x. So you still have a better value on parlay play, which is another reason I recommend having parlay play, because those boosts do add up and they do make a difference. We'll swap this over to NBA. The first NBA pick that I was going to lock in was going to be for our man Donovan Mitchell. I have Donovan Mitchell to give us 24.5 points. Told you guys I think that's a good line for him. I think he's going to have a big game tonight versus Detroit. 24.5 points is a low line, and it's also boosted on parlay play. They have a couple of boosts today that I like a lot, and that's those two that I just locked in. So 1.46x for 25 points. We can pull up Mitchell here. Mitchell is a guy who is usually good for 25 points, especially in big games. So Donovan Mitchell, points, his original line is 28.5, 24.5. He's cashed 7 of his last 10 games. He's cashed it 73% of games on this season. He's averaging 30 points per game, and he's averaging right at 21 field goal attempts per game. Some of these games he's getting high 20s, low 30s in terms of field goal attempts. So the guy's putting up some big numbers in terms of points. If you look at Detroit, they don't give up a lot of points in general, 113 per game. They have a good defense. Look at them versus the guard position. Don't give up that many points to the guard. If you average out point guard and shooting guard positions, you got the 12th ranked defense in the league, so almost a top 10 defense. I'm not saying that this is going to be an easy game for him, but if you look at the head-to-head matchup, last 2 games, he dropped 35-plus points, 35 and 38 in his last 2. The only game this season, he had 35 points, and he had 18 field goal attempts. He shot 72%. So, obviously, I don't expect him to shoot 72%. If he shoots anywhere close to 50%, I'm going to be happy as can be. But I do think that he cashes 25 points for us. I think that's going to be a good line for our man Donovan Mitchell, and I'm willing to put my money on it if you guys are too. So, Donovan Mitchell, 24.5 is pick number 3, pairing him with Michael Porter Jr. I told you guys I had a good play for Porter Jr. that I like a lot. It's not his PRA today. His PRA is inflated. I like his points and assists at 24.5. So this is a spot where I don't usually run points and assists, but you can get some good value. His line's 30.5. You can get this at 24.5. He's cashed 9 of his last 10 games, and he's cashed it 73% of games on the season. Cam Thomas is back. You do have to remember that. We're going to go to games with Cam Thomas. We're going to pull him up. Games with Cam Thomas, he's cashed 5 of 9. So it doesn't look nearly as good. With Cam Thomas being in, I think there's a lot more opportunity for some potential assists from Porter. Porter doesn't pass the ball a ton. You can look at his potential assists, 5 potential assists per game. He had one game where he had 9. There's a couple games in here where he didn't even pass the ball. 0 potential assists or whatever. So how do you have 0 potential assists but 2 assists? Okay, so 1 potential assist here with 2 assists. All right, maybe I'm dumb. Maybe potential assist is counting the assists that were missed. Is that what that's doing? If I'm completely looking at this wrong, I've never actually done the math and looked at it like that. But if that's the case, then something is incorrect here. But is that one assist that was missed maybe? So that was one more potential assist he had, or potential assist counting actually the total number of assists they can have for a game. All right, if I'm completely stupid, then sorry. But anyways, Porter Jr., it's a good matchup going against his former team in the Nuggets. Nuggets have one of the worst points in assist defense in the league. You got a small forward. It looks just as bad, 27th and 25th. So should be a game that stays competitive. This is actually a spot where Brooklyn could potentially win this game. So I like Porter Jr. for 24.5. This gives us almost another double up. We can just hit Porter here, drop down arrow, points and assists at 24.5. 1.24x gives us a 1.8x that we're going to lock in live. So lock these two in if you like them, guys. Those are the two slips that I have. I have Aaron Rodgers with Travis Etienne. We have Donovan Mitchell with Michael Porter Jr., both over points and assists. So lock them in if you like them. Like I said, fade them if you don't. The Discord is free to join. We would love to have you guys in the Discord. Join if you're not in there already. Join the WAP if you want to get every single one of these plays. And hopefully we can have us a good day today, guys.